This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and here we have the Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2. Noun, noun, number. That's the way, Lenovo names things. But anyway, this is the Yoga Tablet. Not to be confused with the Yoga Laptop. Obviously, no laptop here. Tablet design. It has this neat swiveling barrel hinge. Now, the original Yoga Tablet had that too, but the specs were kind of and it didn't match up to the really lovely design. Happily, things are much improved here in terms of specs, but the price is still very reasonable. We're going to look at it now. So here it is, the Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2. We looked at the Pro version, which is a 13.3-inch running Android, and we've looked at the Windows version, also the bigger version. This is the 8-inch Android version. The Android versions have a silver casing. The Windows versions have a black casing. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same hardware. So if you're looking at this and saying, hey, I would like this in Windows, you can do that. No problem. Lenovo has that. Again, also available in the 10-inch if you want something a bit bigger. What they all share in common is the swiveling stand and design, which looks pretty cool. I have to say, for a tablet that's not terribly expensive, this has a really lovely industrial design. I mean, you put it on your coffee table and it's going to look sort of like, well, a nice high-tech conversation piece. It's going to look pretty. Anyway, part of that interestingness is the cylindrical battery area right here. It allows Lenovo to put a bigger battery in than they could otherwise unless they made the tablet really chunky. Obviously, this is a very skinny tablet right here. And it's a place to incorporate the swiveling hinge right here. So what's that for? That's for standing it up. That's the yogaing part. Now this is an infinite design. There's no like one particular position you have to use. I can put it anywhere I want, as you can see, tilting it back like that. You can do that with it. And you can hear the metal sound right here. This is metal. The rest of the body, though it might not look it, is plastic. Helps keep the price down. Hey, helps keep the weight light. And there's what the backside looks like. So, unlike the bigger ones that have a JBL subwoofer over here, not on little guy. This little door here is for your microSD card right there for storage expansion. You can fold it completely flat like so. There is no release button like there is on the big models, and the little diagram right here tells you just grab it by the cylinder and then you can pull it out pretty easily. And it goes all the way to flat. Now, why would it go flat? Because they put this hole here, because Lenovo's new thing is you can hang them on the wall. Don't know why you want to hang it on the wall. It would be a very expensive photo frame, but you can if you want to. I suppose for presentations and stuff, particularly probably more in Windows land where people will use PowerPoint day in and day out to give presentations, it makes perhaps more sense there than with an Android tablet. Anyway, gets rid of that whole problem of I got a tablet and I don't want to hold it all the time. Not that this is very heavy. It weighs 0.92 pounds, so just under a pound. Feels pretty light. Feels balanced. That's one thing about the tubular battery right here is it sets a good center of gravity so it doesn't feel too heavy. It also gives you a handhold. Say you want to read an ebook or something like that. It's pretty comfortable to hold. Even if you're going up to the 10-inch model, it's fairly comfortable to hold it like this. And the good thing here is that, well, the first generation Yoga tablets had kind of blah specs and just okay screens. This one goes to a 1920 by 1200 IPS display, so glossy, obviously, we're going to see some glare there, but it's sharp enough and nice enough looking that if you're into reading ebooks and magazines, it's going to look pretty darn good on there. And here's a Google Playbook, so you can see what it looks like. Very nice and sharp, even the line art rendering. Certainly plenty enough speed here for this sort of thing. So, $229, not bad. 1920 by 1200, that's a full HD display plus a little bit there in measurement. And the CPU is certainly up to handling everyday tasks. This is an Intel Atom CPU, 1.33 gigahertz base clock rate. That is a quad-core CPU. And Android's come a long way, as I've noted, and now it does a good job supporting Atom. Now this runs Android 4.4 KitKat. Sorry, no lollipop here. And typically with Lenovo's low-priced tablets, you don't get major OS upgrades. So that's probably all that you're going to see on this. We don't know that for sure, but there's no promises here that you're going to be getting Android 5 lollipop. I think the market segment that Google, or rather Lenovo, targets here is kind of the more casual buyer who's not so into what version of the OS I have, but, well, what can I get that looks good and runs nice for a decent price? Magazines likewise look pretty sharp and fairly readable, though I still think 10-inch is a better size than 8-inch for reading tiny print when you're looking at magazine layout. So Lenovo likes to customize Android, so what we've got here is what looks like a normal desktop at first with a weather widget and the usual Google search bar. Shortcuts down here that you can customize, a limited multitasking bar right here. Not that many apps that support it, but you can get two-window multitasking going, obviously with the file browser, the Chrome web browser, gallery, email, calculator, the video player, and so on. But anyway, notice there's no shortcut to the app drawer. You just slide sideways. That's what they do with this here. So every time you install an app, it's going to increase the number of screens as needed to add that. Now, if you really detest that, you can put something like Nova Launcher on here, one of the third-party launchers that makes it more Android-like again. Personally, that's what I would do. I'm not so thrilled with this UI, and I think it makes the icons and the text look a little bit bigger than they honestly need to be. Do have shortcuts to all the Google Play stuff here. It's a fully Google-sanctioned device. And we have notifications up top here, and you can customize the notifications as you see fit. Now, if you want to get to settings, you can swipe up from down here, and here's a bunch of quick settings, and then you can go to full settings as well. As you can see, we've got ambient light sensor, GPS control. This has dual band Wi-Fi 802.11n, so we have a switch for that. Bluetooth 4.0 as well. No 3G, 4G LTE option on this so far, not in the US anyway. And while we're looking at the front, notice there are two front-facing speakers, which is just a brilliant place to put it, isn't it? Not facing into your hand, not facing behind you. So sound is actually pretty good, and they're fairly loud given the size of the tablet. 1.6 megapixel front-facing camera there. They assume you're going to hold it portrait orientation, obviously, because that would be top center if you're holding a portrait, though it's okay actually on the side, although you'll be featuring the, well, one side of your face more than the other. On the back side, we have an 8 megapixel camera with an f2 lens, which is oddly down there, right there, see? Kind of a funny place for it, but if you're holding it with the cylinder up when you're taking pictures rather than down, kind of the opposite of the way you would normally hold it, well, then it's probably not so bad. Micro USB port here, 2.0. This is for charging, for copying files back and forth to your PC, and also it supports USB host. Volume controls right there. Nice metal ridged, feels good. Not too easy to press accidentally. And on this side here, we have the headphone jack, interestingly integrated into the barrel hinge. Microphones are built in. There's one of them right there. And where's the power button? It is this button right here, which will light up if you're charging too. So that's kind of neat. It's a nice, again, metal button with a good feel to it. So overall, for $229, it feels pretty darn good. If you watch the Dell Venue 87000 review we did recently and really pined for that, but that was way too much money for you to spend at $399, well, this one just might be more to your liking. The tablet is available with 16 gigs of internal storage. Obviously, you can augment that with the microSD card slot. If you like to install lots of big, fat, heavyweight games, well, it might be an issue since some of those games can clock in at, well, 1 to 3.5 gigs apiece. But this is a mid-range performer, a little bit better than mid-range. Call it the upper two-thirds. I think if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably going to be looking at something more like the NVIDIA Shield tablet, maybe. That 1.33 gigahertz Intel Atom CPU is the Z3745. That's a Bay Trail CPU. It has 2 gigs of RAM inside, so that's pretty much par for the course. Decent enough. The battery is 6,400 milliamps, which is pretty large for an 8-inch tablet. It's a 2-cell battery, and again, this design allows them to put a bigger battery in there. In terms of benchmark scores, you can see what our 3D Mark score is right here for the Ice Storm Unlimited test. That's 15,606. Quadrant, it scored 14,689. Usually we see 20 to 21,000 on the highest and fastest Android tablets. So, you know, that's actually not bad at all. Again, you're looking at the top two-thirds here, not the very top of the line. But for 229, it's good. On Tutu, 34,275, where 40,000 would be the very best that you see. 20,000 would be, say, mid-rangey smartphone, lower-end tablet, so not bad performance. SunSpider JavaScript test 740, that's where lower numbers are better, and we see typically a range from around 500 to 1,200 these days, so not too bad. So overall, it's fast, it's fluid, no problems with program launch time with the responsiveness of the user interface. A couple of bundled programs there. We have a file manager on board. not too many other junkware programs on here, which is nice. Lenovo's not overloading it too much. We get Route 66 for navigation and mapping over here. I put Nova Launcher on there myself. They put Amazon Kindle on there. I think a lot of people might actually find that useful. So not too junked up at all. Speaking of using this as a expensive photo frame, Lenovo does have their eFrame application, which can indeed act as a photo frame, showing all the pictures that were preloaded on the device, and it will do exactly that. So maybe when you're not using it, you can hang it on the wall and make life a little prettier. I don't know. You might worry about battery life, but the good thing about that big cylinder battery is Lenovo claims 15 hours of battery life, which is okay, just kind of like crazy. It's an awful lot for an 8-inch tablet. Real world, I'm finding it does do about 10 hours, which is better than average. It might not really encourage you to use it as a photo frame unless you plug it in, but not so bad. For those of you who want to be a little bit productive, it does come with Kingsoft Office, which handles Word, Excel, PowerPoint compatible documents. As you can see, you can create a new document right there. And we've got pretty simple menus here that bring down very touch-friendly things. And it's a fairly full-featured Office suite, so that's included for free. You don't have to go ahead and buy your own Office suite. Also good because so far MS Office for Android is not Intel Atom compatible just yet, but this one does the job pretty well too. And now for video playback and speaker quality, here's our channel, and we'll test out. Let's look at the Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2 with Windows. And volume is set about 68%. Pretty good black levels for an LCD there. This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and here's an interesting piece right here. We've seen the Lenovo Yoga tablets before. They come in Android, Windows flavors. In fact, well, for an 8-inch tablet, not too bad. I wouldn't say it's exactly the most rich and full thing I've ever heard in my life among all electronic devices, but for an 8-inch tablet, that's not bad at all. So web browsing speeds are just fine on this using the Chrome web browser that's included. Nice contrast, really sharp colors. It's, you know, it's not a AMOLED super duper best of the best display, but it's very, very nice, and at about half the price of the best tablets. Really can't complain. And if you want to do a little multitasking, I just tapped on the multitasking area right there and brought up albums, so you can see that's how it works. You get little floating applets right there for the multitasking, and it has enough horsepower to handle those just fine too. And if you want to make it bigger and make it full screen, you can do that. So again, it may not be Samsung's level of multitasking, but it's not bad at all. So that's the Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2. So that's the Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2, the one that you can hang up. I'm not sure why you would want to do that. It would be a very expensive photo frame, maybe, if you did. Anyway, available in 8-inch and 10-inch sizes, running Android, also available running Windows. In fact, we looked at the 13.3-inch model of this. We also looked at the 13.3-inch Pro model of the Android tablet, so check out that review also if you're interested in it. Anyway, for the price, it's really nice. It's very good looking. It has a pleasing enough IPS Full HD display, reasonable performance, and well, nothing yoga's like the Yoga built-in stand. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to visit our website for the full written review, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.